I believe the Rangers are going to win Game 2 like they won Game 1.
Well, I hope so. I don't care how they win it, just win it. I mean, the last 3 minutes of Game 1 I was a mess. I mean, first they cut the lead to 1. Yeah, they get the Jarvis goal. Then it looks like they're going to have a 2-man advantage. Thank God they took a stupid penalty. Though those last 3 minutes were intense, but they do get the win. And don't look now, Ronnie, but the Rangers are unbeaten in the playoffs. They're 5-0. They swept the Capitals. They won Game 1. They had the most points in hockey this year. They had the most wins in the history of the organization. And again, 5-0 in the playoffs. Just how good is this team?
Well, right now I put them in the top 4. There's another 3 teams that might be equals to the Ranger, regardless, because regular season. You can win games during regular season that it gets a little harder to play in the playoffs, right? And so, but this team is built to win in the playoffs. We've seen it. Now, they played a weaker team, probably the weakest team in the playoffs, which was Washington. I predicted that they would win in 5. They won in 4. My prediction going against Carolina, I think they're slightly better. I say they're going to win in 6, and we kind of saw what we're going to see through this playoff series. So are they good enough to win the Stanley Cup? I'm going to say yes. Now, they do have to get by Dallas, possibly Edmonton, and then I thought was the Panthers, but then Boston beats them bad last night. So as far as matchups, if the matchups go right, I think they can beat Boston. They're a better matchup against Boston than the Panthers. And I think that if they go up against Dallas or, let's say, Edmonton, I see there it's almost equals. But when you look at what the Rangers are doing, special teams in the playoffs is so important. Right now, they're at their power play 44%, penalty kill 91%. I mean, face-offs are winning over 50% of the face-off, which is controlling the puck. So they're doing so many good things. They got the right balance of players. They got some older players, great goaltending, of course, an experienced coach. So everything is lining up right now, almost like the Knicks, perhaps, that we might see a repeat of 94.
Wow, of course, the Rangers did win it then. The Knicks fell short against the Houston Rockets. Rangers got past Pavel Bure and that group of guys. Hopefully you're right, but both can win. You know, look, you joined the Rangers in 77. You were on the team in 79 that lost to the Canadians for the Cup. John Davidson was in the Nets then. You had some great hockey teams. Eddie Mio did a great job some of those years that you were here. And then, of course, you had Richter win the Cup all those years of the King. Lundqvist, who had a shot but lost to the Kings in 2015. I know that he hasn't won a Cup yet, and Richter did, but are you ready, Ron Duguay, at this point to call Igor Shesterkin the best Ranger goalie ever?
No, he's got a ways to go. I mean, if he wins the Stanley Cup this year, then all of a sudden you're going to start forgetting about Lundqvist. But you look at Lundqvist's numbers and his wins, he was wonderful. He was, I like Lundqvist because of his compete level, worked really hard. He was always the hardest working guy on the ice. But Lundqvist, you look at his numbers, Hall of Fame guy. Shesterkin, no. Shesterkin has not been that consistent, playing really well right now. But if he takes this team to the finals, wins the Stanley Cup, then we can start talking about could he be the best goaltender. Richter, when you look at his numbers, he was really good that year, but his numbers weren't that great. He was good. Get me wrong. Richter was a good goaltender. But Lundqvist, long-term, you got to look at long-term numbers, right, being consistent. So Lundqvist is still the king, but Shesterkin can be next to him on that pedestal.
Yeah, I know. We get in a habit in sports of comparing teams. So, like, you want to compare, Fox to Brian Leach, which, of course, you can't do because Leach was one of the all-time greats. So the year that Panarin just had to Messier, which you can't do because Messier may be one of the 3 or 4 best players in the history of the game. So when you do that, I feel like this team, as great as they are, even if they win the Cup, on a man-to-man comparison, would lose almost every time going up against the 94 Rangers, yes?
Yeah, different game, different time. This team here is playing at a faster pace. They do have balance as far as skill. When you look at the 94 team, that team was built to win. They had veteran players that they needed to win that year, and they accomplished that. They had some toughness. They had the goaltending with Richter, and they had, of course, the great Messier. So it's just a different team. This team plays fast. And they make plays, and the special teams are really good. Could they beat that team? It'd be a close match. It'd be really close.
No, they can't. I can't beat you. Let me tell you something right now, okay, Ronnie? And maybe I don't know, maybe I just favor you. But you out there, you give me a little Ronnie Greshner. You give me, you can even throw, what's his name, the 100-point guy. You got Rogers out there. That's fine. Give me Hedberg. Give me Rutsalainen. Give me a whole bunch of those. Yeah, you go. And you guys could beat them too, no?
I don't know, because I see them playing so fast. When you have speed and you're controlling the puck and making plays, the game is just different, because you can have skill, but if the skill's a little bit slower than that speed, sometimes that speed beats some of that skill.
Well, are the Rangers right? Are the Rangers right now the fastest team in the playoffs?
No, they're not faster than Florida. The Panthers are playing fast. I think they're a little bit quicker than Carolina. They're a little bit quicker than Boston. But it's not just playing fast. It's playing fast and controlling the puck and making plays. So you can be playing fast, but if you're not accomplishing anything, it doesn't matter. But these guys are playing fast and making plays. So that's where Coach Laviolette allows them to play a puck control game, right? Be skillful out there. Don't be afraid to try things. So that's the difference. When you're playing fast and making plays, like you watch them on the power play, how quick they are, and making finesse passes, that's tough to defend against.
That power play, when you've got Panarin kind of leading the whole thing with Fox, and then you add Zibanejad, you add Kreider, and I guess is the fifth, who's the fifth on that? I guess it's...
True will be out there, and then you got Fox.
Oh, no, they throw Trocheck out there, too. But four guys in particular. When you've got Kreider, Panarin, Fox, and...
Well, you throw Kreider. The thing with Kreider is really good in front of front net presence and tipping pucks.
Right.
There hasn't been anyone that good to be able to do what he's doing in front of the net. Because you got to play the front net. Sometimes you just screen the goaltender, right? That's easy. But when you're actually up there screening and tipping and being able to finish, Kreider's been really good at it.
He's been great.
In the playoffs.
Right.
When you look at his numbers in the playoffs, he's a playoff guy. And it's a little bit disappointing that he went past me. I think I was third or fourth on the list on goals, but Kreider
I saw that. Yeah, I was upset about that, too. Yeah, but I love it. The way Mika and Panarin handle the puck on these power plays is great, too. Let's talk about Rempe. Over the years, there have been Ranger players that we've all adored, guys that just fought, whether it was Joey Kosa or Ty Domi or back in your days, the great Nicky Fotillo. He was so mean. He would beat up people in the stands, not just on the ice. But... But this guy, Matt Rempe, has added. The guy plays like 6 minutes a night. To be completely honest, he makes very little impact on the game. But when he's out there, it's like such a big deal. He's taking over New York.
Well, that's because there was such a need for it. There wasn't any. There was nothing, right? And all of a sudden, Laviolette decided, listen, we're not tough enough. So we need to have some toughness, but if you're going to have toughness, the guy's got to be able to play, right? He's like 6'7", 6'8", but he can skate, can play. He goes to the net, takes the body. He's looking to crush guys. And the Ranger fans haven't seen it, so that's why he's so appreciated right now, because we have nothing. So that's why I say keep playing him, keep throwing him out there. The thing he has to do is draw penalties and not take penalties, right? Draw penalties to the point, hit guys where they get so angry they come after you and they take a penalty, but you've got to keep your elbows down and not take penalties. So if he can do that, he's very disturbing. There's a physical presence. Not only is it on the ice for the fans, but it is for the players in the dressing room. Some of those guys in the dressing room like to have some toughness behind them. There's a feeling of strength when you step on the ice. And it makes a difference. And so the Rangers did not have that, because I criticized the Rangers for the last 2 or 3 years. Too soft. I kept saying they are too soft. They cannot win in the playoffs. Too soft. Well, now they have toughness. They have that where they can play that tough game if they have to.
So is there a weakness? We talked about this unbelievable power play, which has been all season long, including the postseason. They scored in the first 10 seconds on both opportunities, game one. Then you've got the penalty kill, which is great. You've got the best goalie in hockey today. Maybe not the best ever in Ranger history, but the best goaltender in the league today. I know during the season, for example, Ronnie, they were not great at even strength. 5-on-5, the Rangers were a middle-of-the-pack team. Is that about their only weakness at this point?
I would say that, only because they're a skilled team that wants to play. I want to use the word pond hockey. you just want to go, right? You want to make plays, and so you're thinking less about how you're going to defend. Thinking less about when you lose the puck, you get in a position, more defensive position. So that's where you have the season to get yourself ready. And that's where I think the coaching has done a good job to get players thinking, listen, when you lose the puck, you got to pull back. You got to get more defensive, play well without the puck, eliminate chances in our own end. Don't be always thinking offense. Your offense will come when you get the puck back. So Peter Laviolette has done a wonderful job getting the players ready for the playoffs, and now we're seeing it.
You know who just texted me?
Gressner. Let me see. Mark Messier.
Oh, those are good guesses. You could have gone with Trump. You could have gone with your own girlfriend, actually. The great Sarah. No, I just got a text from a guy you told me was going to text me yesterday. The most famous, maybe, Ranger call ever out of Howie Rose, talking about 94. Mateau.
Yes. So I was with him at the game. I was with him last night. We did an event last night. And so I don't know if you know, but coming up, May 18th is the anniversary of his goal 30 years ago. Yeah.
Did you say 30 years ago? 30?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, Ronnie. What's going on with us?
Yeah. So he wants to celebrate that, and he's got a couple of events. So I think you should have him on your show and talk to him. He's a good guy.
I'm going to bring him in, I think, before Game 3 on Thursday. How about that?
Yes, I think that works. You know, of course, keep in mind he's French-Canadian, and he gets a little shot on the radio, but he's a wonderful guy. He's got a lot to talk about. You think back to that team, and just there's so many guys who are unsung heroes. And I don't care what sport it is. You know, we see this in baseball all the time. Ronnie, get some pinch hitter in the ninth inning, deliver a big hit so the Pirates can beat the Braves. Where you get that, that third wide receiver, a guy like David Tyree, makes a big catch for the Giants to beat New England. And the Rangers in 94, they had so many of those guys, not the Messiers, the Leaches, the Larmers, the Adam Graves guys, that made immense contributions. I mean, a guy like Stepan Mateau, people don't talk about him. He was terrific. He was, and it was Mike Keenan, the genius behind putting that team together. Him and Neil Smith, they put that team together. And for Mike, with all his experience, he knew going to the playoffs, we're a good team. They were at the President's Cup that year, correct? I believe so.
Yes.
But he still felt like, you know what? There's an ingredients missing to win the Stanley Cup because it's so tough, right? So many games are so like tight checking games. You need the strength, you need the size. So that's where he felt like a Mateau, not a star player, but he plays that role. Those guys that play on the third line, guys that play on the fourth line. And so for Mateau, not the quickest guy out there, but he would prepare himself, like on those goals he scored against Bordeaux. There was some thoughts on how they can score against Bordeaux, right? And how he would hold his stick. They had talked about that. And so sure enough, that couple of times when he went around the net, he was trying to hit the stick to kind of use it as a deflection. So Mateau, you can ask him about that. But Mateau and others were guys that were just playing their roles to a T. You let your superstars be superstars, and then you have your role players that have to still defend well and still be good checkers, go against the offensive strength on the other side. So Mateau was one of those players that was able to do that. But the one guy that doesn't necessarily get talked about who put this team together is Coach Mike Keenan, whom you've talked to in the past.
Love him.
And so it's unfortunate Mike didn't get a chance to come back and play and try to win the Stanley Cup.
I agree. It got ugly, but he was a great coach. And, they got all those Edmonton Oilers guys, too. Lowe, Boom, Messier, Tikkanen. And let's not forget that Ronnie Duguay was the handsome guy without the helmet back in the 70s and who was actually on the ice as time expired and the Rangers won the Cup, Craig McTavish.
Yes, with the helmetless, yes.
Yes.
So I got to watch that game. I actually came and I went with Rod Javert, great Rod Javert. Him and I watched by the penalty box. So I got the experience watching the Stanley Cup. But unfortunately, as ex-players, alumni, we don't feel like we could get near the cup because we had our chance, and you actually don't get near the cup. You don't touch the cup. I didn't go to the Andy celebration because you're really not part of it. You're just part of the brand. You're part of the beginning of, kind of building the team to where, there's still, greatness to the logo, to the Ranger organization. So I like to think that I was part of that.
You were.
And the growing of that. So
You were great. They were too good, the Islanders. Let's stop it. I mean, come on, that Hall of Fame was everywhere. Bossy, Trottier, Billy Smith, Dennis Potvin. They were too good. You guys were great. You guys, it's kind of like, if Michael Jordan didn't play all those years, and maybe Hakeem too, you may have won a couple. Same thing with you guys. I mean, the Islanders were just too good, but that was no indictment of you, Ron Duguay, or those teams. They were great. You were great. You're still great. Thank you for coming on this morning. I enjoyed this immensely. I love you. Safe trip back to Florida, buddy. Thank you so much.
okay, we'll stay in touch.
Thank you, Ronnie.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Ronnie Duguay here in New York. And his girlfriend is here, too, Sarah Palin. And he's going to go home for game 2 because what he texted me, which he wouldn't say on the air, is the city's a mess. We'll be back on Sid and Friends.